Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Keeneland Racecourse here on Saturday. It is the 10th of April 2021. Going to look at the stakes races on the program from Keeneland, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Remember to go check out my Grand National preview today from Aintree, and also check out more locally, my Oakland, Arkansas Derby preview for today. But it's an excellent card from Keeneland. We're going to look at the stakes races 7 through 10, and all stakes. Pick 4. Let's get to it right now, starting off with the 7th race from Keeneland, which is the Ben Alley Stakes. Grade 3, purse $150,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of only 5 horses going the distance of ground here of 1,800 meters, if you want to go by that, or the distance of ground of 1 1/8 miles on the Keeneland main track. 1,800 meters, 1 1/8 miles. And I show the diagram. It just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. My top selection, we're going to go take the number 3 horse Night Ops. We'll go 3, 5, 2, 4 in the superfecta. 3, 5, 2, 4 super. Top selection, 3 horse Night Ops. This 5-year-old horse by Warriors Reward. Brad Cox trains. Javier Castellano picks up the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 13th of March at Oakland, a mile 16th in the Essex Handicap. And the horse finished 3rd by 2 lengths there. He was just a little bit wide and was just kind of lackadaisical. Never really had the good turn of foot, but he did improve off the previous race, which was the 5th season stakes at Oakland, 1 mile, January 23rd. First off the long refreshing, he finished 3rd by 3 3/4 lengths there, and he really just had nothing from the back of the pack. Desperately need the race first off the bench, and then prior to that in the Cornhusker Handicap at Prairie Meadows, a mile and 1/8 in early July, the horse won by 1 3/4 lengths, and he stalked that day, had a dream trip, quickened up nicely, and he had a lot left in the tank, an all-around good race. And then prior to that, he ran last year's Oakland Handicap at Oakland, a mile and 1/8 on the 2nd of May. Drawn stupidly wide, 13 of 13. Very tough Oakland Handicap last year. He finished 9th by 11 1/4 lengths, and he just had nothing. It wasn't his day to win from that wide post draw. But before that, he actually won the Essex Handicap very easily on the slop at Oakland. You may see some moisture in the ground today, and I think that should suit him well. And you're just looking over his buyers. He's run the most consistent buyers out of all these horses. He's been training well at Oakland. Even money, let's use him. If there's a horse that could slightly upset, it would be the 5-horse Silver Dust. His most recent race on the turf, most recent 2 races haven't been good, but the turf race was just a disaster. I think that was his, both his turf races have been horrible. Come back to dirt, not the world's toughest grade 3. I think he could really get a good trip, so 5-2, we'll definitely use him in the pick 4. But to recount my selection for the 7th from Keeneland, it is the grade 3 Ben Alley. Let's take the 3-horse Night Ops. We'll give kudos to the 5-horse Silver Dust. We'll go 3, 5, 2, 4 in the superfecta, 3, 5 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 8th race from Keeneland, which is the Giants Causeway Stakes, purse $100,000, race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 10 horses heading to the turf course, the distance of ground of 1,100 meters, or the distance of ground of 5.5 furlongs on the Keeneland turf course. 1,100 meters, 5.5 furlongs. My top selection here, we're going to go with the number 6 horse, the 6 horse who is a bit of both. We'll go 6, 3, 7, 1 in the superfecta, 6, 3, 7, 1 super. Top selection, 6 horse, a bit of both. This 5-year-old mare by Painter, Michael Maker trains. Tyler Gaffleon gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 6th of March at Goldstream on the slop, 5 furlongs off the turf in the Captiva Island Stakes, and the horse won by a half length. And is not a dirt horse. He'll run okay on dirt, but is more suited for turf. But the horse sat back early, had a great turn of foot late, and got the job done. Finally come back to turf today. I think the horse will really show some great form. This horse always finds the off-the-turf races for some reason. 2 back in the ladies' turf sprint at Goldstream on the slot, 5 furlongs in early February. She finished 4th by 3 lengths there, and she just really never weakened out of him, never quickened up, but I just don't know if she was liking the slop there. And then her most recent turf event in the Panzeretta Stakes at the Fairgrounds, 5.5 furlongs, 5th of December. She finished 5th by 3 1/4 lengths there, and she was with him early on. She just couldn't get the good turn of foot. Maybe she needed the race there at the Fairgrounds, since her previous race was just only like 14 days prior at Churchill, 5.5 off the turf, and allowance race 58,000. She won by a neck, and she had a great dream trip there, but she was only facing 4 other rivals. But just looking over her turf races, they're few and far between, but when she steps on the surface, she really does well. She's 4-2 at the trip. She's 1 for 1 here at Keeneland, by winning here in October very easily by half length on the front end at this trip. At 8-1, we'll give her a shot. We also have to give a shot to the 3-horse here at LEZ. This 4-year-old filly by City Zip. So City Zip, fast horse. This horse has some speed. Most recently in the Mardi Gras, the horse won by 4. That was off the turf on the dirt, but that was an all-around good race. And then before that, the Fairgrounds 5.5 and a black type stake. She finished second by length, and she just couldn't get there late, but she still ran a terrific race on the front end. And then she won wire to wire in the Panzeretta before that, the Fairgrounds. She has a lot of speed into her. She's again another horse 1-for-1 on the surface, but ran the best race for her life here in the fall at 7-2. We'll definitely use her in the multis, but to recap my selection for the 8th from Keeneland, it is the Giants Causeway. Let's take the 6-horse, a bit of both as a top selection. Give kudos to the 3-horse at LEZ. 6-3-7-1 in the superfecta, 6-3 in the multi-race. The 9th race from Churchill, it is the Lexington Stakes, Grade 3, purse $200,000, race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 10 horses heading to the dirt track. The distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Keeneland main track. 1,700 meters, 1 mile and 1/16. Final chance to get those Derby points in the Lexington today. I do miss the old Derby trial. They usually run the Saturday, or in my time, Saturday before the Derby. I know in some people's time it was run the Tuesday before the Derby, but I wish they would bring somewhat of a race like that back. But they're not, because it's 2021 and we have to know what our horses' limitations are. But the top selection here in Lexington, we're going to go with the number 2 horse, Swift Shore. We'll go 2-7-4-6 in the superfecta, 2-7-4-6 super. Top selection 2 horse, Swift Shore. 3-year-old Colts by Uncle Mo. Steve Absence trains. Irider Ortiz Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 23rd of January at Oaklawn. 6 furlongs in a lance race, 84,000. And the horse won by 3.5 lengths there, and basically had a good dream trip from a starting position. She stalked, she got off the lead, quickened up nicely, and then never really got to the bottom of the horse. That was a very good run. She's routing here for the first time, but 1 mile 16th at Keeneland tends to be more towards speed horses. This horse definitely has some speed, and it wouldn't surprise me if this horse goes wire to wire from the inside. 2 back in her debut at the Fairgrounds, 27th of November, 6 furlongs, main special weight 47,000, and the horse won by 3.25 lengths. And again on the front end all throughout, she didn't break that well, or he didn't break that well, excuse me. But after that, he just kept going, quickened up nicely, and all around good race. Has been improving a lot. Coming here, routing trip, which this horse is bred for. I think he can go all the way. 5-1, we'll give him a shot. We'll also give a shot to the 7-horse here, Proxy, the Streo Colt by Tappan. Michael Stidham trains. Godolphin owns this one. Johnny V gets the mount. Most recently, they ran the horse in the Louisiana Derby over the mile 3/16 trip at the Fairgrounds, and the horse finished 4th by 3.75 lengths there. Didn't break that well, which this horse has a tendency of doing, was stupidly wide throughout, and just couldn't quicken up, but never weaken out of it either. It was a weird run. Maybe a kind of Belmont horse that could just plod along. It takes a little time to get going. But before that, I thought the horse ran a very good second place finish in the Risen Star, where the horse kept coming late after a stupidly wide trip and a horrible beginning. And then before then, Lecomte, the horse finished second by a length again, and again didn't break that well and was drifting that day, a little inexperienced, but didn't run half bad. Just, the horse is going to have to break today, and if he breaks well, could sit a little closer at 6-5, another very likely winner, but he might want a little bit of a longer trip. But to recap my selection for the 9th race from Keeneland, the Lexington Stakes, not to be confused with the old Lexington Stakes that we used to have here in New York at Belmont in July, but it's the Lexington Stakes from Keeneland. We're going to take the 2-horse Swift Shore as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 7-horse Proxy. We'll go 2-7-4-6 in the superfecta, 2-7 in the multi-race. The 10th race, the feature race from the program from Keeneland. It is the Jenny Wiley Stakes, Grade 1, purse $300,000, race for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses heading to the turf course. The distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Keeneland turf course. 1,700 meters, 1 mile 1/16. My top selection here in the Jenny Wiley, we're going to go take the number 3 horse, Juliet Foxtrot. We'll go 3-4-2-1 in the superfecta, 3-4-2-1 super. Top selection of 3 horse, Juliet Foxtrot, 6-year-old mare by Dansel. Brad Cox trains. Tyler Gaffleone gets on this one. The horse's most recent outing came 29th of November at Del Mar, 1 mile in the Matriarch Stakes, and the horse finished 3rd by half a length. Was with them early on. She had the lead, and then just couldn't keep up late. It wasn't her day to win. It was a very tough campaign Chicane late in the year, so maybe she just wasn't 100% cranked. Coming here off the bench back to Keeneland, where this horse run decently in the past, I think she's in a more realistic spot to win. Two back, she ran the 3rd of October on a very wet turf course at Pimlico, mile 16th in the Gallaret handicap, and the horse went by a length. She stalked, she got to lead, and then she just kept going. That was a very good race on very demanding ground. And then prior to then, the distaff turf mile at Churchill, 1 mile the 5th of September. She finished 4th by 5 lengths. Just kind of stalked all the way around the race course, and just really couldn't get the good turn of foot there. And then before that, last year's Jenny Wiley run last July here at Keeneland, a mile 16. She finished 3rd by 1 1/4 lengths. And again, just kind of stalked, but could never really get going. The winner, Rushing Fall, just had everything her own way, and mid-season form, Rushing Fall, nobody was really catching last year. And then prior to that, in the mid-julep at Churchill, mile 16th, late May, finished 3rd by 1 1/4 lengths. First off the bench, she needed the race there, but this horse likes a turf course that has a slight give in it. She's going to see it today. It's not going to be as wet as it was at Pimlico in October, but it won't be as dry as it was here last July when she ran the race. But I think you're going to see the good going for her, and I think at 7-2 she's a very likely winner, so we'll use her. Your second likeliest winner also is the 4-horse Etoile, which I believe means star in French. This 5-year-old mare here, Chad Brown trains. Javier Castellano gets him out. Most recently, they ran her in the E.P. Taylor, where she won over the mile and a quarter trip at Woodbine, winning by a neck. It was a very good, gritty performance. Before then, Dan Smartley at Woodbine over the mile and a quarter. She finished 2nd by 3/4 length, and again, was really closing up well, but she just couldn't catch Theodora B, who was just a little bit gamer than her late. And then the North America debut in the Gamely last May at Santa Anita. She finished 8th by 4.5 lengths, and she was just stupidly wide and never really got going from the back of the pack. I did back her that day. That was a very, horrible backing for me. But she's another horse, if the ground shows up a little bit on the softer side, she should suit her well. Back to a mile 16, training well. At 3-1, we'll give her a shot on the multis. But to recap my selection for the 10th from Keeneland, it is the grade 1 Jenny Wiley. Let's take the 3-horse Juliet Foxtrot. We'll give kudos to the 4-horse Etoile. We'll go 3-4, 2-1 in the superfecta, 3-4 in the multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingCat5. Good luck, everybody.